love you, Mommy, and I forever love you.
We have a lot of hard questions to answer, and Legend is already asking them. I was reading the girls their bedtime prayers book, and there was a verse, Jeremiah 15:20, that reads, I will rescue you and save you, says the Lord. And Legend says to me, how is God going to save us if he didn't save my mommy? That's a question a child should never have to ask. And it's not a question that I should have to answer.
A beautiful 28-year-old real estate agent in the prime of her life, a mother to two of the most precious girls that you've ever laid eyes on, a loving rapper boyfriend, baby daddy, heading up the music ladder, a deal gone wrong, a fake house showing, and a contract. This is the tragic story of Monique Bao. Hi guys, welcome or welcome back. Thank you so much for being here. It's so greatly appreciated. It truly, truly is. Before I get started, let me give you my usual disclaimer. This video is for educational purposes only. Please do not take what I say as fact. Please always do your own research and come to your own conclusions. Next, if you have not liked, subscribed, or commented yet, please consider doing so because it really helps me out and I really appreciate it. So, Tuesday, December 31st, 2019, Minneapolis, Minnesota. Monique Bao, who had been in the real estate business for a little over a year at this time, pulled up to a house on Russell Ave to meet with what she believed to be potential home buyers. What she was met with instead was a verbal and physical attack, a kidnapping, beating, and ultimately her death. Monique Latrice Mitchell Bao was born on October 17th, 1991 to mother Wanda Williams in Minneapolis, Minnesota. She attended Robbinsdale Armstrong High School, and it's said that her vibrant and outgoing personality made her a friend to many. She was described by others as an amazingly loving and hardworking mother who would have done anything for her girls. She loved being a mother, and she would tell the girls that every single day. She was described as having an infectious smile. At the time of her death, Monique was living in her mother Wanda's home with her two girls. Her boyfriend was very much in their lives, living in a separate home, but incredibly invested in Monique and the girls. December 31st, 2019, Momo was babysitting the girls in Wanda's home while Monique and Wanda are both at work, not together. Momo was an up-and-coming rapper in the Minnesota music scene. He's most known for doing collabs with famous artists like Nipsey Hussle and Lil Baby. If you know anything about the music industry, you know that there's a lot of money to be made. With this comes a very flashy lifestyle. It's facts. A flashy lifestyle that Momo wasn't shy about sharing. That's why this crime was originally thought to be a burglary, but that also was nixed pretty quickly when investigators found that nothing was taken, including all the expensive Christmas gifts that were still under the tree. Okay, let's talk about the key players in this story. The victim, 28-year-old Monique Bao, her then boyfriend, John Mitchell Momo, John's then rival, Lyndon Akeem Wiggins, who went by the nickname LA, Wiggins' then girlfriend, Elsa Segura, Cedric Berry, and Barry Davis, Barry Davis happens to be Cedric Berry's brother-in-law. Cedric and Barry were also in the drug trade together. Hashtag goals. Cedric was considered a low-level dealer while Barry was higher up the chain, but then Wiggins would have been on top of both of them. LA was also working with Momo on music, and after the two had a business disagreement, the sick and twisted plan for the night of December 31st, 2019 was put into motion. They originally met as aspiring rappers that were both signed to the same record label. They would travel and perform together often at places that included California and Miami. They traveled big and they traveled luxurious. The truly fucked up part about this whole thing is that Monique also knew LA, and she knew him very well. Because of her relationship with Momo, Monique and LA traveled together, hung out together, and partied together. At one point, Momo began working on an album called West Side, which caught the attention of Nipsey Hussle. For context, Nipsey Hussle was already a very established rapper at this time. LA offered to record a verse for this track for Momo, but Momo decided to work with Nipsey Hussle instead, which, fair, he could work with whomever he wants, and of course you're going to pick the bigger name to go with. It's just, it is what it is. You're going to pick the bigger name because the bigger name is going to make more sales, which is going to make more profit, which is ultimately the entire goal. After this, Momo was taking off while LA was left feeling like he got dumped in the shitter. When money and jealousy are involved, it often becomes a dangerous situation, and typically that situation usually spirals out of control. This would set all the events of that New Year's Eve into motion. By April of 2019, just months before the whole thing happens, Momo and LA had ceased all communication with each other. Shit really hit the fan after this. Side note, some sources say it was over a music dispute, while other sources say it was over a drug dispute. And this is why. Momo and some of his associates were arrested on gun charges, but let go not long after. Around the same time, a very lucrative marijuana deal that LA was running was raided by law enforcement. LA believed that Momo was the snitch, and that's why he got released from jail so quickly. Now, could this be true? Absolutely. Could the police have been onto LA this whole time? Also, absolutely. But when it comes to drug deals, people don't think rationally. December 16th, 2019, Momo posts a video to social media of him flaunting a shit ton of cold hard cash. LA took this as a direct jab to him over all the cash that he lost from the bust. Could this have been a personal jab? Absolutely. Could this also have been just a video with no direct hate behind it? Absolutely. Either way, it does not justify the fucked up shit that goes down. At the time, LA didn't know where Momo lived. Momo took extreme measures to make sure that he kept the whereabouts of himself, Monique, and the girls very, very quiet. Like as quiet as possible. And I'm sure he feared some sort of retaliation at some point. But remember, LA and Monique had known each other, and therefore LA knew that Monique was a real estate agent. December 29th, 2019, Cedric Berry purchased a burner phone from an electronics store. Cell site location information confirmed that at the time that the phone was being set up, Cedric Berry, Barry Davis, Elsa Segura, and L.A. Wiggins' personal cell phones were in close vicinity. I'm not sure actually at this point if I've said it yet, but if I haven't, Elsa Segura is the girlfriend of L.A. Wiggins. December 29, 2019, Elsa Segura used the burner phone to set up a house showing with Monique Bao. When Monique didn't answer, Elsa left her a voicemail, one that would turn out to be critical during the second trial, and one that L.A. Wiggins had no idea even existed.
Monique, my name is Lisa Pawlowski. I'm interested in the property Niagara Lane North in Maple Grove, Minnesota. Just give me a call. This is a property that I'm really interested in, and I'm hoping that after the walkthrough that it is one that I decide to go with.
A showing that nobody would show up for. Cell phone data would later show that while Monique was at the house waiting for the fake couple to show up, Barry and Davis were scouting the area. It's now believed that the first showing was scheduled on purpose to see if Monique showed up to viewings alone or with colleagues. She would end up calling Monique back and setting up a showing for the following day, December 31st, 2019 at 3 p.m. That same day, at a nearby Walmart, two-way radios, bleach, and ammonia were purchased by Barry Davis. After the Walmart purchases, Barry and Davis picked up a red U-Haul van and drove over to the Maple Grove house to meet Monique for what she believed to be potential clients for a potential house sale. Once at the home on Maple Grove, Barry and Davis kidnapped Monique and threw her into the back of I'm skipping ahead. Once they get to the house, a struggle starts. And that's very evident from the crime scenes, and one of her nails pops off. From there, they take her, they throw her into the back of the U-Haul, and they take off with her. At approximately 5:40 p.m., the van left the home and arrived at Wanda's home where Momo was watching the girls. That's when the two men entered the home and Momo multiple times before fleeing in the U-Haul with Monique still in the back. Momo was hit 3 times in his leg, 1 time in his right shoulder and 1 time in his back.
I cried so many tears, I don't even got no more to give. 3 times down here in my leg, I got hit right here, a bullet right here.
Thankfully, though, he was able to reach the phone and call 911. Mind you, the girls, 3-year-old Legend and 1-year-old Legacy, were in the home at the time. Legacy had actually turned 22 days before this entire thing went down. Like,
A mother is so important, and everyone that has a mother understands how important a mother is, and they don't get to experience that, and they had one of the best. She made me want to be a better mother, and I get the chance to do that with her children, but she should be here, and I can never replace Monique. Joan can never replace Monique, the other grandmother.
those poor babies. I can't even imagine. About an hour later, at 6:38 p.m., a gunshot detector, which I didn't even know even existed before this story. I swear to God, I had no idea, alerted police to 3 shots being fired near an alleyway in a high crime area in Minneapolis. When police arrived at the scene, they found Monique's body thrown outside like a piece of trash. Like a piece of trash. It's awful.
Monique didn't have to die. She didn't have to die. They could have let her go at some point. Those defendants could have let her go at some point. You got her key. You had access to where you are, to where Momo was. Not that I wanted him to die. I'm not saying that, but none of this should have happened. But Monique did not have to die. I didn't have to throw her out like she was garbage either. My baby was so precious to me. To all of us, she was so valuable. How dare they?
Her hands were bound with duct tape. There were 2 spent .45 caliber shell casings. Her coat was on the ground. She was missing multiple fingernails at this point, and part of a black box was also found near her body. She had been 3 times at close range, once in the face and twice in the torso. Momo was rushed to North Memorial Health Hospital, and after extensive surgeries, he would end up pulling through, thankfully. Sadly, while he was there recovering, Monique would be transferred to that same hospital where she was officially pronounced dead. While all this is going on, Wanda is finishing up her shift at work when she sees a message from one of her neighbors to give them a call. She calls the neighbor back. He tells her that somebody had been shot at her house, that he doesn't know who it was, and that he doesn't know where Monique is, but that she needs to get home now. She rushes back home, obviously, probably like a freaking lunatic. I can't even imagine. Where she finds both of her grandchildren. They're safe, unharmed, thank God. But Momo and Monique are nowhere to be found. When she asks the girls, "Where's mommy?" Legend, who's the 3-year-old, tells her mommy is at work, which was technically the truth. Initially, that wasn't concerning because Monique hustled all day, every day. What was concerning, however, was the fact that Monique was not answering any of Wanda's calls. And Monique always answered her phone, even if it was like she's showing a house. If her mother called her, she would pick up her phone. She would say, "I can't talk right now." And she'd hang up the phone and then she would call her back. So this is really, really bothering Wanda, obviously. While police are at the home talking to Wanda, detectives are also at the other crime scene, Monique's crime scene, which they don't know are connected yet. At some point, Wanda looks over and she sees Monique's very distinct house key lying on the floor. A key that was always on Monique's key ring, because think about it. Why would your house key be laying on the floor of the living room of your house? Doesn't make much sense, right? You're gonna get back in. And now it's just laying on the floor in Wanda's home, and Monique is nowhere to be found. So while detectives are chatting back and forth, Wanda tells them that Monique has a very distinctive tattoo on her lower abdomen that reads Heartbreaker. The detective excuses himself, steps outside to make a phone call. While on that call, he confirms that the victim in the alleyway has a tattoo on her lower abdomen that reads Heartbreaker. It is now the detective's job to walk inside this home and break the most unthinkable news to this mother, who also happens to be a perfect stranger with 2 little girls a week after Christmas. Could you fucking imagine that? These 2 little girls are there in earshot of the wails and the screams that are about to ensue.
Not fair to not have her here with us. She was taken from us. Just had this confidence and glow about her that you just wanted. Like, it was so infectious. Like, you just wanted to have whatever dose of Monique. Like, what did you have, Monique? We want that. So
when Momo wakes from surgery, the first question that he asks is, "Where is Monique?" It was then another officer's job to break the news to Momo that the love of his life, the mother of his children, was gone. When officers asked who would want to hurt them, Momo immediately told them Lyndon Akeem Williams. On top of this, Crime Stoppers got an anonymous call saying that L.A. Williams was the person responsible for the contract killing, telling them that it was a paid hit for the death of Momo and Monique. The reason Monique was pulled into this was strictly for the house key and probably the address. I'm thinking also the address, but for the house key so they can get into the house so they can get to Momo. Cedric Berry and Barry Davis were actually paid for this in the form of illegal narcotics. Footage from a neighbor's ring camera showed the U-Haul pulling into the driveway shortly after Monique's arrival at the showing. It also shows them back in the U-Haul into the driveway and forcing Monique into the truck. When police searched the U-Haul, they were hit with a strong scent of bleach and ammonia. They also found blood, Monique's missing fingernails, which matched one of the nails that were found at the house showing, and zip ties. It would later come out that Cedric Berry was the one responsible for killing Monique and attempting to kill Momo. January 2nd, police arrested both Cedric Berry and Barry Davis. Both men were charged and sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole. Bye. See you later. A few days later, Elsa Segura and Lyndon Wiggins were also arrested. But for Lyndon Wiggins setting up the contract killing, and without Elsa Segura luring Monique to the fake house showing, Monique would still be alive today. So, therefore, as far as I'm concerned, they're all equally involved, they're all equally culpable, they're all equally responsible, and they all deserve the same equal sentence. Life in prison without the possibility of parole. You would think the story ends there, right? It doesn't. Of course it doesn't. Why the fuck would it? This is America. January 31st, 2024. Elsa Segura appeals her conviction, and it goes all the way to the Minnesota Supreme Court, claiming that it never proved that she knew the phone call would end up in the death of Monique. I mean, what did you fucking think was going to happen? Mind you, she used a fake name. Why did she use a fake name? You set up a fake showing for what? Shits and giggles? Like, I don't understand what you thought you were doing.
Monique's life can't be released back to us. We can't get her back. So why should anyone involved in such a horrific crime be eligible for any type of freedom? We don't have any freedom. Her kids don't have any freedom. I speak confidently on the behalf of my entire family. It does not get easier, even though the time goes by. The years go by. It doesn't get easier because we, every moment, think about her. She's in our living rooms, on our walls, and we think about her day in and day out.
She took a plea deal, pleading guilty to kidnapping, and she's sentenced to 20 years in prison plus time served.
Bao's family says going from life in prison to 20 years, which with time served and good behavior means Segura could get out in 10, doesn't feel like justice to them.
Not one time you apologize. Not once. But you can sit and you can figure out how to get your time cut short. That's not acceptable.
So this is a very far jump from the once given life without the possibility of parole.
As the woman who lured her to her death is sentenced for the second time.
She sits in there and she figure out how to get shorter time. And what we feeling, she should feel that for the rest of her life. Her family should feel it for the rest of their life.
Elsa Segura was originally sentenced to life in prison after being convicted of aiding and abetting premeditated for using a burner phone and an alias to set up a fake real estate appointment with Bao in Maple Grove. The state Supreme Court overturned Segura's conviction, saying prosecutors didn't have direct evidence that Segura knew Bao would be murdered as a result of the plot, and returned the case to Hennepin County for a retrial, which was supposed to start next month. But in a plea agreement, Segura pled guilty to kidnapping in exchange for a 20-year prison sentence, a move prosecutors believe will prevent another appeal.
Anytime there's a trial, there's probably going to be an appeal. But when someone pleads guilty, there can be an appeal, but people are very unlikely to prevail. So we would consider this the end of Ms. Segura's case.
The court ruled that she was entitled to another trial. Not surprisingly, L.A. Wiggins also appeals his conviction on faulty jury instructions given by the judge in the first trial and is granted a second trial.
For the second time in a Hennepin County courtroom, John Mitchell Momo stared down the man he believes wanted him dead. Momo testified against Lyndon Wiggins.
So I think it's unfair that I'm forced to come back and reopen wounds over and over again.
Prosecutors say Wiggins was a record producer who signed Momo, a hip-hop artist, but the two men had a falling out. Momo testified that Wiggins was cut out of the record company, blamed Momo, and hatched a plan to get to him through Monique.
The unspoken rule that everybody knows, right, is women and children are off limits, right? So I would respect it if they would have me and left her alone.
Thankfully, the courts were not swayed this time. Ellie Wiggins was also not expecting Elsa Segura to testify against him in this trial. He also wasn't expecting for the voicemail that she left to be played at the trial.
My name is Lisa Palowski. I'm interested in the property Niagara Lane North in Maple Grove, Minnesota. Just give me a call. This is a property that I'm really interested in, and I'm hoping that after the walkthrough that it is one that I decide to go with.
Because meanwhile, he didn't even know the voicemail existed. He had no idea the voicemail existed until the second trial. In the end, he's still given life in prison without the possibility of parole, as he should. It's exactly what he deserves, and he should rot in prison for what he did. Period. Point fucking blank. There's one more person in this story, and it is a woman by the name of Shantae Berry. She's the wife of Cedric Berry, and she's the sister of Berry Davis. She was given 90 days in prison for her role in the crime, which included aiding and abetting the crime, driving Berry Davis to pick up the U-Haul, driving her husband's Buick, which was found to have duct tape, ski mask, and two-way radios inside of it, and for lying to police. After 30 days, she was given home monitoring for the rest of the time. I mean, it is what it is, I guess. As part of the healing process, Wanda and her two grandchildren wrote a children's book together. The book is called Ruby and Onyx and the Magical Pillow Adventure. 6-year-old Ruby and 4-year-old Onyx are two sisters being raised by their maternal grandmother, Gammy. Their mother went to heaven when the girls were very young. One day when Gammy gave the girls mommy's pillow, something magical happens when they fall asleep on it together. The concept comes from the fact that Monique loved to read to the girls, and while doing so, she would lay on a purple pillow. It's really, really sweet. It's really sweet. It really is. Like, you could just, like, the pain that this mother feels is, oh my God. My heart broke for this woman. The pain that she feels, like, I just want to hug her. The book discusses parental loss at a level that little minds can understand. So, if you guys want to support Wanda and the girls, the book is currently on sale on Amazon for sure. I don't know where else, but it's definitely for sure available on Amazon if you want to go support her. It would be nice. If you guys are still here, thank you. I love you and I appreciate your support so very much. Please like, subscribe, and comment if you haven't yet and you feel so inclined to, because it really helps me out and I really appreciate it. And until next time, stay safe out there.